Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Officer Aidan.
I'm Gaynor.
And today we have 15 American brands you pronounce wrong.
I know which one's going to be one of them.
Which one?
Nike. Is it Nike or Nike?
Nike.
Adidas or Adidas?
Yeah. Well, it's Adidas, isn't it? Because well, that's not even American anyway.
No, it's German, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, well, let's find out what there could be. Let's go. 15 American brands you pronounce wrong.
So now that you've tried a lot of our German restaurants, what about checking out some of the American places that we have here? We could maybe go to Maggie or Pizza Hut. Where? You know, the place with the big yellow M and the other one with the red roof. I'm just gonna get ready real quick. Have you seen my Levis shirt or my Ralph Lauren shirt anywhere?
I didn't understand any of them.
Well, I knew when she said...
The big yellow arch.
Yeah, no, but the second one, what she just said, Pizza Hut or something like that. Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Hello, servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Felicia. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but have been living here in Cincinnati, Ohio since 2016. About half a year ago, I made a video about 15 German brands that Americans and many other people in the world pronounce wrong. If you haven't seen that yet, you can click up here. And since so many of you guys loved that video, I thought, why not make a counterpart about 15 American brands that we pronounce wrong in Germany? And I'm assuming other nationalities probably pronounce these wrong too. And when I say wrong, I mean that we pronounce it differently than the people who actually founded the brand. Before we get into it though, I'm super excited to announce that my channel finally has a new logo, as you probably saw in the intro. A big shout out to Ireland for designing this for me and to Mitchell for the animation. Also, a big thank you to ExpressVPN for sponsoring this video. For those of you who don't know ExpressVPN, you should favorite show, even though they don't have it. The first brand is one of the biggest companies in the world, and it's grown even more this past year. Amazon is how Americans pronounce it, named after the Amazon River. Amazonas in German. Now, the thing with most of these brand names is that most Germans know at least some English, and many of us therefore do pronounce these brand names the way that Americans do too. But there are also many Germans who pronounce it in a more German way, and that's also oftentimes how they say it in German commercials. And that German pronunciation of Amazon is Amazon. Amazon. By the way, when Jeff Bezos founded the company in 1994 as an online bookstore, he first named it Cadabra, based on the magical term abracadabra. But his lawyer told him that the magical connection was a little too obscure, and apparently people also sometimes understood cadaver on the phone. And because website listings were alphabetized at the time, yes, this was over 20 years ago, he wanted a name that started with A, and while paging through the dictionary, he came across Amazon and thought, why not name it after the biggest river on Earth, since he wanted to create the world's largest...
But it's not called the Nile.
What is that? Yeah, that's the biggest, isn't it? Yeah. I was thinking then, you should have said, I said the Amazon, but then I realized.
Bookstore. Fun fact, before he chose that name, he also registered a few other domains, including awake.com, rouse.com, and relentless.com, and all of these will still direct you to Amazon to this day. Now, this isn't something that only Germans do. I actually think that Germans probably picked this up from British people because they pronounce it like this too. And I'm talking about this shoe brand, which is pronounced Nike, but many Brits and Germans tend to say Nike instead. So Germans still pronounce it with an...
I don't think anyone cares. You just you know what they're talking about either way.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like I dabble between both.
I do as well. I say Nike and sometimes
say Nike.
Yeah, no,
but I would say Nike most of the time.
Yeah, I would as well.
English pronunciation, because if you pronounce this word the German way, it would be Nike, and nobody says that, thank God, but Nike still isn't the correct...
I feel like that was a little bit too close for my liking, personally.
Pronunciation. The company was originally founded in 1964 as Blue Ribbon Sports by Phil Knight, who was a track athlete at the University of Oregon, and his coach Bill Bowerman. Before they started making their own shoes, the company was a distributor for the Japanese shoemaker Onitsuka Tiger, and they mostly sold the shoes out of their cars. It wasn't until 1971 that they started their own line of footwear and renamed the company to Nike, which, as many of you probably know, goes back to Nike, the Greek goddess of victory.
You know New Balance?
Yes.
I used to think that was the old Nike.
Why?
Like, I thought that everyone that had shoes with that N on it, I used to thought that was the old Nike logo.
Like, oh right, a different logo.
Yeah.
New Balance was way after, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I'm sure New Balance came out when I was about 15.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that was about 85.
This is the most mind-blowing one on this list for all my German viewers, probably. I didn't even know that I mispronounced this until I came to the US. This payment service that used to belong to eBay is pronounced PayPal in English, but for some reason most Germans pronounce it PayPal, or some say PayPal. I have absolutely no clue why we believe...
She just said PayPal in a German accent.
Yeah. But it's the same as over here, it's the mal. Like, Pall Mall is mal, but in America it's mall.
Nah, no one ever says mal.
They do.
No one says mal. Who says mal?
Well, Pall Mall is pronounced Pall Mall.
Yeah, because that's a different word. Like, you wouldn't say, like...
Pall Mall.
No, yeah, you wouldn't say that, but you wouldn't say the mall. If you, like, were in America and tried to... Because we say shopping centre, don't we? We don't say mall. If you were saying mall in the terms of a shopping centre, you'd say mall. You wouldn't say mal.
But I think I used to say
That's
mal.
like saying I'm walking down the hall instead of the hall. Do you know what I mean?
All right.
It's kind of... Yeah.
Believe that the English pronunciation of this would be PayPal, because pal in English is another word for friend or buddy, and apparently the idea behind this name was that you could pay your pal through the service. PayPal was founded in 1998 under the name Confinity, but it was then renamed in 2001. Now, this one can get kind of confusing. As you guys probably know, this is a restaurant chain specializing in pizza, and Americans pronounce this Pizza Hut. Germans usually say either Pizza Hut, so we pronounce pizza with a short I sound, or I've also heard Germans say Pizza Hut, which would be the German pronunciation of H-U-T, Hut, which is the German word for hat. And this honestly seems to make a lot of sense if you look at the logo and the signature red roof, because it does look like a hat in a way. But the English term Pizza Hut...
But it also looks like the roof of a hut.
Hut, yeah.
Which that's what I always thought it was.
And we say Pizza Hut, but I think down south they'd say Pizza Hut.
What?
Because we pronounced it
Pizza, what, do they just like cancel out the T?
No, we pronounced it
Pizza
up
Hut.
Sound.
I'm going to go to Pizza Hut.
It's more like, it's like Bath and Bath.
Yeah.
So it's Pizza Hut.
Just say it quicker.
That actually means Pizza Hütte in German. According to their website, the story behind this restaurant is that in 1958, the two brothers Dan and Frank Carney, who were in college at the time, borrowed $600 from their mom to open a pizza place in Wichita, Kansas, and they named it Pizza Hut because their sign only had room for 8 letters. Let's stick with restaurants and talk about the most well-known restaurant in the world, McDonald's. There are about 1,500 locations throughout Germany, and while many Germans do call it McDonald's, so like McDonald's but with a German accent, we also have different nicknames or abbreviations that people use. In the Munich area where I'm from, many people call it Maggie or Mackie, and in other parts of Germany, people often call it Meckes. In France, on the other hand, people often call it McDo. So there are many variations of how Germans and other nationality call this restaurant. Fun fact, McDonald's drive-thru...
I call it Mackey's. I don't know the last time I called it anything other than Mackey's.
I call it Mackie D's.
Mackie D's.
I say, do you want a Mackie D's?
I'll say Mackey's.
Are called McDrive in Germany, probably because Germans struggle with pronouncing the word through. That's why in general, drive-thrus in Germany are usually called drive-ins, but the McDonald's one is simply McDrive. And fun fact number 2, I mentioned this in my 200,000 subscribers special with the Munich tour. One of the biggest McDonald's locations with one of the highest revenues in entire Europe is actually located in Munich at Karlsplatz Stachus. I mean, every Munich person knows that place and it's gigantic. Another food-related brand is Heinz, which many Germans actually think is a German brand because of the German name. but it's actually
Heinz.
an American company, founded in Pennsylvania in 1869.
What's the best thing that Heinz has ever made? Do
Ketchup.
you think so?
Yeah.
Not baked beans?
I do like the baked beans, but I think ketchup. There's
Yeah,
no
I
other
would-
ketchup like it.
Yeah, no, I agree with ketchup.
I've tried like gourmet ketchup that people have made. That no.
Oh, no.
No.
Whataburger spicy ketchup, way better.
Oh yeah, you do like that. My favourite's the ketchup.
By Henry J. Heinz, who was the son of German immigrants, but he was born in the US. They first produced horseradish, Meerrettich in German, but that didn't go very well apparently because the company went bankrupt a few years later, and that's when they started making tomato ketchup. And as we all know, the rest is history. Now, Germans don't pronounce this brand wrong per se, but we pronounce it like we would pronounce the name in German. And since Z is pronounced Z in German, we say Heinz, while Americans pronounce the Z like an S sound and say Heinz. Minor difference, but I still thought it would be
Same
worth
thing.
mentioning. The last food-related brand on my list is an ice cream brand that I'm sure all of you
Gonna
guys
be
know,
Haagen-Dazs.
but
Nah,
many
'cause
of
that's
you
German.
probably thought it was a Scandinavian brand. You guessed it, I'm talking about Haagen-Dazs.
Yeah,
and
that's what. Yeah, how could that be American?
Because it is
But look at how it, like, he's even got the accent above the A and everything.
Haagen-Dazs.
I was sold that was German.
Really?
Yeah. Or what, like
So
you said, Scandinavian at
How do you
least.
pronounce it?
Haagen-Dazs.
Haagen-Dazs, yeah.
no, it's not a Danish or Scandinavian company, it's American. It was founded in the Bronx in New York City in 1960 by Ruben and Rose Mattis, and they invented the name because they thought it was Danish sounding, but in fact, the umlaut A letter, which we call Ä in German, doesn't even exist in the Danish language, and neither does the ZS combination. Because of this umlaut A letter, the Ä, which we do have in the German language, Germans usually pronounce it Haagen-Dazs, while in the US it's simply pronounced Haagen-Dazs. By the way, American ice cream is pretty different to the ice cream that you'll get in Germany and other European countries. I actually made a whole video on that topic, so if you want to check that out, you can just click up here, or you can also find the link in the info box below.
It's got nothing on Ben & Jerry's though.
I was going to say I like Ben and Jerry's.
This is one of my favorite ones because we pronounce this so differently in Germany. I'm talking about the toothpaste brand Colgate, which we pronounce Colgate in Germany. So we just say it how you would pronounce it if you read it somewhere in a German text and just followed basic German pronunciation rules. It doesn't really sound great in German, to be honest, but it's been around for a while, so I'm assuming that they just Germanized it for the German advertisement back in the day when people didn't really speak English and then just never changed it. The name goes back to William Colgate and his soap company that he founded in 1806. That company became Colgate Palmolive later, and in 1873, after the founder had already passed away, they started to sell oral hygiene products, including toothpaste, which at that point was sold in jars instead of tubes.
Jars? How would you even do that? Dip your toothbrush into the jar?
Yeah, I've got a teeth whitening thing, and it's like a blue powder. So I wet my toothbrush and then dip it into the little tub, and it sticks to it, and then I brush my teeth, and it's like gritty. It's a lot better. And I've also got.
Does it taste bad?
No, it's just a bit like crunchy tasting. But I've also got foam mouthwash where you squeeze into your mouth like. And it goes like you would with hair gel, like hair mousse. It's like.
Oh. That's weird.
The next brand on my list is something that many Germans use on a daily basis, just like people all over the world do. I'm talking about the operation system Windows by Microsoft. Now, many Germans pronounce it the same way that Americans do, Windows, but you'll also hear a lot of people say Windows instead, because W is pronounced like an English V
That's why
in
it's
German.
called
So many
Volkswagen.
Germans say Windows.
Volkswagen.
Windows. Another one that has to do with computers is the software company Adobe. I know that even in the US, not everyone is sure about the correct pronunciation, and it's the same in Germany, where many people say Adobe or Adobe instead of Adobe. It was founded in 1982, is headquartered in San Jose, California, and is mainly known for products like Adobe Acrobat, Photoshop, Premiere Pro, which I use all the time, and many other softwares. The next one on my list is an American clothing brand founded in 1964.
How do you say this one?
Ralph Lauren.
Ralph Lauren. I'm joking. I say a lot of Ralph Lauren, yeah.
But I bet there's a lot that say Ralph Lauren.
Yeah. Because that's how it's spelled, isn't it?
But if you were to meet a girl and her name was that bottom one.
Yeah, Lauren.
Lauren, yeah.
Not Loren.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's known for its logo with the polo player, Ralph Lauren. For some reason in Germany, people tend to pronounce this name more with a French pronunciation, probably because the name looks kind of French and many high-end clothing brands are from France, so maybe people just assume that it's a French brand and therefore most Germans say Ralph Lauren. But the founder, Ralph Lauren, was actually born in the Bronx and is therefore...
Wait, so it is Ralph Lauren?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Ralph Lauren.
I say Ralph Lauren.
American.
Ralph Lauren.
Oh.
Another clothing brand that gets mispronounced a lot is this one, Levi's. The company was founded by a German immigrant named Levi Strauss, or Strauss, in 1853, but just because he was German doesn't mean that the brand name is pronounced Levis, which is what some Germans call it. He actually changed his name to Levi when he moved to the US because his German first name was originally Loeb, so he was born as Loeb Strauss and then became Levi Strauss. As most of you probably know, the company was and still is known for producing blue jeans because they were actually the first company that produced them.
Really?
I'm sure many of you have been waiting for this one, car brands, because I talked a lot about German car brands in my German brands video that Americans pronounce wrong, but this also exists the
No, because that's German. These are American brands.
Oh yeah.
So what's an American, like Chevrolet? They might pronounce that different, like Chevrolet. Is that even American?
Chevrolet, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe that could be one. Mustang's there, so.
other way around. Well,
It's gonna
this
be
one isn't
Mustang.
technically
Oh, yeah.
a brand, it's actually a car model or a type of car by the manufacturer Ford, the Ford Mustang. Now, the name Mustang is based on Mustang horses, and those are pronounced Mustang in Germany. Therefore, we call the car Mustang as well. Now, there are different stories as to who came up with the name. One story says that it was the executive stylist, John Najar, who co-designed the first Mustang in 1961, and he suggested the name because he was a fan of the World War II P-51 Mustang fighter plane. Another story says that there were different names on the table. The designer wanted to call the car Cougar or Torino, while Henry Ford himself wanted to call it T-Bird 2, but the market research manager, Robert J. Eggert, then suggested the name Mustang because he was a breeder of quarter horses himself and was just reading a book with the title The Mustangs. Fun fact, the name Mustang actually couldn't be used in Germany at the time because it was owned by the company Krupp, who was selling trucks with the name Mustang, and Ford didn't want to buy it from them, so they sold the car under the name T5 in Germany up until 1978. Now, this one technically doesn't 100% belong on this
Jaguar.
list because it's a British company and not an American one, but it's English speaking and I just really wanted to include it. It's another car
Jaguar.
brand and another one that's named after an animal. Jaguar is what English native speakers call it, while Germans pronounce it Jaguar because that's what we call the animal too. J in German is pronounced like in English Y, so we say Jaguar. The company was founded in 1922 as Swallow Sidecar Company because they only made sidecars for motorcycles at first. Then they started developing bodies for passenger cars, and a lot of those cars had the model name Jaguar, which is why they changed the company name to Jaguar in 1945. Jaguar was bought by many other companies throughout the years. It was even owned by Ford for almost 20 years, so this is where the American component comes in. And in 2013, they actually merged with Land Rover, and the company is now called Jaguar Land Rover.
I really like the Jaguar, but you don't see it that often, do you? On the road.
I've been actually looking to buy one.
Really?
Yeah, because my insurance has gone up so much for my car that I'm not paying that amount of money.
Oh.
So I've been looking at I've been looking at the
Jaguars are very nice.
Jaguar.
And the last one on my list is the car rental company Hertz, which is from the US again. Hertz was founded in 1918 in Chicago, but is now based in Florida and pretty much exists all over the world, including in Germany. But in Germany, instead of Hertz, we
Is that
pronounce it
rental cars?
Herz, which is the same pronunciation as the German word for heart, which is Herz spelled H-E-R-Z. So this was my list of 15 American brands that Germans pronounce wrong. Now I'm curious to know if you guys can add anything to the list. So other
Yeah. I'm not sure. Have you got anything else that you could add to the list?
Well, what I was going to say was, no matter what the brand is, they're pronouncing it in their German accent.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
So
she's not pronouncing it wrong, she's just pronouncing it in an accent.
Yeah. Like, I think if Ben and Jerry's was on there, she'd say, we pronounce it
Ben and Yetis.
Ben and Jerry.
No, because the J is a Y.
Okay, Ben and Yetis.
Yetis.
Yeah. So it's just the pronunciation that they change it from.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It was, yeah. If you did, make sure. The only like one that actually makes sense was probably Nike and Nike, because they're actually two different ways of saying it.
Yeah, Nike.
All the other ones are just accents, really, weren't they? Yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button for us, please, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye.
Cheers.